Today, 84% of Americans still believe in owning a home, but most want the dream home, not their starter home, which means they are leaving billions of dollars on the table by not starting where they can. Well, today, my guest will tell a story about how they began at a starter home to a move-up home to a dream home, and how you can too. My guest today, the Keffers.
That's good.
Our brother Ray, my sis Tanya. How's it going today, guys?
It's wonderful, man. God is good.
I love it. Sis, how are you?
Lovely and doing well. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much today. I'll tell you what, thought about the reason why we are here today is because we have seen so many people who still believe in buying a home, but they want to start with that dream house. And you guys did not start at the beginning. So I want to ask you first, you guys been married for how many years now?
22 and some change.
Right.
Wow. Okay, first, tell me how you guys met.
You want to start? You want to jump in?
I'll just jump in.
So long story short, one of my good friends in high school was dating her. And he was senior. She was a junior. And I was low-key jealous because I never thought he deserved her because he wasn't taking care of her right. Like he would, if you listen, my God, I'm sorry, bro. I'm just telling the truth. But he would like take her home and drop her off like on the corner in Manchester and Western, like not take her to her door. I would see this. I'd be in like a couple cars behind. I'm like, man, what's this jabroni doing?
Jabroni.
And so they ended up breaking up. And then my yearbook, he signed it and said, P.S. Take care of Tanya for me. I'm like, bro, I got you.
Say less.
Say less. And it's funny because the first semester, and I'll let her get into that, she wasn't at school. And all of a sudden, the second semester, I seen her because I had advanced history, which I shouldn't have been in that class with her twin sister. And so one day I seen Tanya walking down the hall. I said, I'm going to shoot my shot. Let me just do it. And I went up to her and I put my arm around her. I said, hey, can I take you home today? And from that, we started talking, went on a couple of dates, and she was instantly like friend zoning me. And we'll talk about that later. And on the first date, I showed up at her house, right? Show how you do it. This was 1996.
Wow.
I showed up at her house in Inglewood with 2 roses, unwrapped, one for her mom and one for her. And I gave it to her mom first. I was 17 years old. You know what I'm saying? You know how we do.
It's like coming to America. That boy good. I love this. Okay.
And so we kept dating.
I had no clue.
And I was taking her home like almost every day. And one day she was like, I have nobody to go to prom with. And what's that movie Holes where the guy was like, I can fix that too. So I'm like, hey, I can handle that. I got you. And I was like, she was like, well, are you asking me to prom? And I'm like, Tanya, will you go to prom with me? And she was like, yes. But she gave me 3 very specific rules, terms.
So if I can recall them, they were no fighting, no drugs, and what was the last one?
No alcohol.
No alcohol. And so he interpreted that as
On prom night.
just for prom night. I meant that as a lifestyle, like I'm not tolerating it. I'm not going to have no nonsense. I had dealt with that in my life, and I wasn't willing to welcome that into my life.
Wow.
And it was hard because at that time, that's when Loonings dropped I Got 5 on it.
So you was totally wrapped into that kind of
like,
mindset.
You know,
huh?
that's like when they just started rapping about weed and songs. So, you know, I'm 17. I was living life to the fullest.
Wow.
So we get closer to prom, and I get into an altercation with a school police officer. And I ended up I blacked out, but I laid him down on the ground. And after I was in custody, I got pepper sprayed. At that point, I was handcuffs on, but then he had some choice words, sprayed me in my face. And at that point in time, I was looking at 3 years in jail. What's interesting, bro, like at that point, I didn't need scared straight. At that point in time, that Friday and Saturday night, every prison movie at the time came on TV. It's like God was telling me, you don't want that life. American History X, Shawshank Redemption, La Onda, Locked Up with Sylvester Stallone. And there was another one with Tom Selleck where the police in San Francisco framed him. Within that 2-day period, how does that even happen? I'm like, yeah. So, long story short, she was like, I'm not dealing with you. We're done. I'm not going to prom with you. I got kicked out of school. They were trying to expel me from the district. So luckily, the principal of the continuation high, I was going to continuation high. It's called Phoenix High School. Yeah, high in Venice, bro. And I don't even want to mention the gangs, but there was 2 different gangs at the school, one blue and one SA. And so I said, you know what? I'm dressing like a preppy every day. And they left me alone. And I finished school in 5 days. I finished half the second semester in 5 days because the principal knew they were trying to expel me. So if I finished all my classes and they expelled me, I already had my credit, so they would have no choice but to give me my diploma. And then, I know I'm talking a lot, jumping anytime.
Yeah, no, please, go right ahead.
So a couple months after that, my best friend, his mother, invited us to choir night, and we had been ditching and dodging her for about 6 months. And at the time, all I knew is that it was a black church. And all I knew of the black church was from what I've seen in the Blues Brothers with James Brown when he was the preacher that was elevating during the service. So I didn't know what to expect. And when I walked in, bro, I was the only white person in the room. And I never felt out of place, bro. I felt welcomed. I felt a love and a presence that I only felt around my uncle. And it was like tenfold, bro.
This is in 96.
July 7th, 1996.
It's almost 30 years ago.
Yeah.
You guys been together for almost 30 years.
Kind of.
Okay.
For 24 years.
24 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Copy.
Yeah.
Well, but married how many years again?
22.
22 years.
2 and 2.
Wow. That's incredible.
And so real quick.
Oh, no, please.
When the altar call came, my godmother, my best friend's mother, she was coming to take me. I was already down there, bro. And accepted Christ that night. And I mean, so many things happened. And
Well, today is 9/11, so that was significant.
Oh,
To the
Respect.
because
Yes.
when 9/11 happened, I got down on my knees. Sorry, the Friday after 9/11, I got down on my knees and I cried out to God and I said, hey, put Tanya back in my life. Here's the funny thing. 5 years prior, my best friend found her, gave me her number, called her, talking about her boyfriend. It upset me. So I lost her number, regretted it. And I said, BJ, if you ever see her again, stop what you're doing and call me. So this knucklehead would call me every 2 weeks for a period of almost 4.5 years and tell me Tiny was on the phone. I would get super excited. Nah, I'm just playing, bro. Right? So went to man 4.5 years, right? Went to God. It was a Thursday after 9/11. I remember clearly. I think I said Friday, but it was a Thursday. That Friday, her job sent her home early. She was living in Inglewood at the Dunes where Issa Rae, she was in that building. And it wasn't, yeah, bro. It was, she felt like going for a park. She felt led to go to a walk.
in the park at Rogers Park,
Okay.
and I'm walking through, and I hear a voice, and it's BJ, and I hadn't seen BJ since high school, and the wonder that I would know that was him is only God. And so I ran to him. I didn't say, "Hey, how are you doing?" I said, "Where is Ray?" So he called Ray. He happened to be with another young lady at the time. And
with one earlier in the day, too. That's how I was. I was in the church, but I was like Pentecostal pimping. It was bad.
okay.
It was bad. But at the same time, my best friend is driving down La Brea. His warehouse was off of Aviation on 104th. So normally he would hit La Brea and hit Century. He's like something told him to dip down Hyde Park. Mm-hmm. So he makes this right. She's walking and they link. And he calls, and this time I heard it in his voice, and then I heard her voice. When I heard her voice,
The rest was history.
I knew at that point in time I was going to marry her.
Wow.
So here's the deal. We went out that Sunday, right? And she was supposed to go to church with me. She changed her mind, but ended up going to the beach with me. And again, trying to friend zone me. Bro, I was always that non-aggressive, even though now, because I'm married, I'm like, I have no mind, like, flirting with her or, doing what husbands do, right?
That's right.
And one thing I know about the friend zone, if you allow yourself to get in that friend zone, you're going to stay in there. You're not going to get out. And so I said, listen, I went deep down in the depths of my soul. I said, I have no problem taking it slow. But if you're telling me that we could never grow into anything more than friends, I'm sorry, Tanya, I have enough friends in my life and I don't need any more. And so she was like,
You what? How did you respond to that?
I was kind of taken back, like, who does he think he is? That's where you're going to stay until I feel comfortable. But I could tell he was sincere, and we just kind of went slow, fast. I think the following week, he could tell you better. We became boyfriend, girlfriend, and then he wanted to propose marriage, and I said, you need to ask my father. That didn't work out. And so he asked my brother and my sister.
And your mom.
And my mom. And they all agreed, yes.
My parents, my pastor.
Right.
This was after, so to take things slow, a week later we were together.
Right.
3 months later, I'm asking permission to marry her. 3 months later, we're engaged. And a year and a half later, we're married.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I've known you guys over 15 years. I never knew this story.
Yeah.
This is incredible. One of the things that comes to mind as you guys were speaking, because I know you guys have different upbringings growing up.
Yes.
So I'm on a call yesterday with a friend of mine who's a principal, and we were speaking about some of her challenges in the school system. And I said to the principal, I said, "What do you think is maybe the biggest challenge, and how you can help these kids?" And she said, "Nick, the biggest difference that we see in kids are those who grow up in a home and those who grow up renting. Mm-hmm. If we can get more parents to have ownership in their home, it creates more stability. Those kids do better in school." And so I know both of you are raised different. You were raised in a home that your family owned, mm-hmm. and you were raised not the same way.
Correct.
Tell us a bit about how you grew up. Did you grow up in stability, with certainty, or was that not your story?
That was not my story.
Okay.
I was the child born to two teenage parents. My dad was 19, I believe. My mom was 17. And for a long time, we lived with my grandparents. And then my mom and dad separated, and we moved with my great-grandmother in her triplex. Mm. And after she passed, we became very nomadic. And my mom did the very best that she could. And as a mom now, I can't imagine all of the stresses that she had to endure being a single mother. And so I appreciate the fact that we're able to provide a stable home for our children. But to go back to my story, I moved so many times I can't even count how many homes.
Wow.
We would spend the night at one place, and then we end up getting a phone call or a text saying, you're going to spend the night here. Or we would stay with a friend from high school. We stayed with them maybe 3 to 6 months. But we were very nomadic, and nothing was stable. And it was difficult.
So take me back to the Tanya this has happened to you when you were teenagers?
Yes.
Okay. So what kind of impact did that have on you at that time in your life?
It made me want to do the exact opposite. In those moments, though, I was very lost and afraid and insecure. I didn't feel protected. And I had to grow up fast. I mean, really fast. I had a job when I was 9.
Wow.
And it was while we were living with my mom, and we would write out cards and get 25 cents per postcard that we would write out. And so it taught me that if you don't work, you don't eat. And then I became like a workhorse. So any job that I had, I worked at the Urban League for a long time. I would overwork myself and do above and beyond more than what I was required to do. One, because I had a passion for it, but also because there was that fear of if you don't work, you will not eat and you will not have a roof over your head.
That is so unique for two reasons. One, which makes you an outlier. Thinking about your story now, I was on a podcast yesterday, and I told the co-host, I said, today in America, there are 72 million kids under the age of 18, and 1 in 3 grow up in poverty. So that's 25 million kids, and 48% are going to die in poverty, which really means that most kids are assigned their direction in life at birth, which means how you grow up is normally how you stay. The same thing, right? If you grow up in a family where your parents owned a home, you're 3 times as likely to own a home yourself, because we have learned behaviors that shape us from our youth to our adulthood. But you saw that reality and you rejected it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think was happening inside of your heart, your spirit, that said, I don't want this life for me growing up myself?
One of the things that comes to mind is my mom would take us. We lived in Los Angeles and Koreatown more specifically.
Okay.
And so she would take us to like, I don't know, the Wilshire area where all those big, beautiful mansions are. And she said, and she would just drive us around so we could see the difference. And she would make sure that we were cultured. We would go to museums. We would go to the park. Whatever we could afford to do that was free, we did it. And so she exposed us to a different lifestyle.
Exposure.
And so when we went to these neighborhoods, I said, Mom, is that somebody's apartment? She goes, no, that's a house. I said, what? And so to imagine that that's even a possibility opened up my eyes.
Wow.
And so the exposure that even with the limited things that she was given, she had the capacity to know I want more for my children, and then showed us a different way. And so because she introduced us to that, then I had a target to reach.
Got it. Okay. So your mom helped give you a imagination
Yes.
of a different world.
Mm-hmm.
You saw that world and said, I want that for myself.
Correct.
Interesting. Now, Ray, so when you were growing up, I know your parents were together, your mom and dad. They were married for how many years, mom and dad?
46, and he passed away in 2019. So what's that, 67 years, I think?
Wow. Okay. So
Almost 7.
So they were together since they were young too.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Like 18 and 19 and 17.
Got it. So when you became a young man yourself, did you always expect, like, I'm going to own a home myself, I'm going to raise a family? Was that always like a part of your thought process?
Never thought about it. And I didn't think about it until I was like 19, 20, and I saw all these people in church getting married. And I was like, there was one time where I was like, I had stopped dating because it always led to fornication. Mm-hmm. And then when I met her, that wasn't the case. I was practicing heavily. And so it's almost like when God sent her to me, like he set me free from that, because we didn't know each other until we got married. It was hard.
Wow.
But we didn't know each other. So back to my childhood, it was filled with trauma. My brother was on drugs at an early age. And so a lot of times we were in counseling so much, police at our house getting robbed because he owed people money. And a lot of times, like looking back, I was like home alone, like 8 years old. And I mean, our 12-year-old, she wanted to stay home by herself. And I'm not ready for that. I said, no. I said, not yet. But it wasn't until I started working for the family business and started being invited to like nice dinners, like at a steakhouse, learning that on the silverware you start from the outside in, knowing, you decide which type of water you want, then your cocktail, then the bread service, then your super salad, then appetizer, then dinner, then sides and dessert. And I'm like, man, like I want this. And so we didn't know what we were going to do when we were engaged. My mom really pushed me. She said, Raymond, I just have this feeling you guys need to like buy a home. I'm like, start saving your money. So at the time, I was making $15 an hour.
Okay.
She was making $12.50.
This is what, 2001, 2000?
2001-ish.
Okay. Okay.
And 2002. And I'm like, she really, her goal, what did you want 6 months before you got married?
I wanted to live by myself.
Like, not even with Raymond, just
No.
on your own.
On my own. So, as a child, I had my siblings.
Okay.
And then my sister and I, we lived together. And then we had an apartment at the Dunes together. And I wanted to experience what it meant to be on my own for 6 months. So we bought the property. He actually went to see the property without me.
On my birthday.
On his birthday.
And I called her.
Yes.
And what did I say?
You said, "Do you trust me?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Well, I think this is our home." I said, "Well, okay. Let's."
Wait. Moving too fast here. Hold on. Okay. So this is 2001, 02?
02.
Okay. So you guys are engaged, or are you guys married at this point?
Engaged.
You're engaged.
This actually might have been early. Okay, we got married in August. So this might have been, I'm sorry, because we saw the house, the condo on my birthday of 2002.
Okay, so take a pause. So it's your mother who inspired the idea.
Mm-hmm.
So your mom said, "Raymond, I got a feeling that you guys got to start saving up, buy your first home together." Okay. And then so it was you. Now, did you tell Tanya, "Hey, we're going to go buy a house together"? How did this decision
We talked
take
about
place?
it, and I said, "What do you think?" And she was like, "Yeah, like I love that." And I said, "We could probably, if we do it right, and watch on what we're spending personally, we could probably do it before we get married." And so we started looking. But at that time, I think we had only seen. This was the third.
Yes.
The first two were like no, and the third one, it was. I really liked it. We staked the neighborhood out, but at the time, it was on the corner of
Myrtle
and what's that street by the Forum 90th by your house?
Yeah.
You can edit that out. I'm sorry.
Yep. No, it's all good. No, you're good. We're good.
But it was fine until we moved in. So we moved in.
Wait a minute. So you guys moved into your dream home, right?
No.
Right. Oh, no.
Wait, this was not your dream home?
This is our start.
Wait,
home.
hold on.
It wasn't we moved in. I moved in.
Okay, got it. So you guys, wait.
I moved in by myself.
Wait,
the first couple of nights, I said, "You can stay," but I had it you stay on that side of the room.
Got it.
Just to make
you still
feel
wanted
safe.
Okay, got it.
I wanted to honor the Lord. We both did.
Okay, this is during the engagement period.
Correct.
Got it. Wait. This is important.
Okay.
Because I can hear many Americans, many families say, "You know what? We're getting engaged too, but we're going to wait until we can buy our dream home."
Oh yeah.
Now you guys decided to start where you could.
Correct.
Right. So talk me through, why didn't you guys wait till it was a perfect home? Why did you start where you could?
That's what we could afford.
Exactly.
Got it.
That
So you
was
started
within
where
our
you guys could
budget.
afford.
And
Okay.
what's
Copy.
interesting is...
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. So your budget guided the decision.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay.
Now, what's really interesting is the condo that we got was $177,000. There was some first-time buyer programs where you had to have an 80, you could go up to 97% financing. So
Copy.
you had to have an 80, then a second mortgage for 17%.
And you had 3% of a down payment. About 3%.
$3,000, bro.
$3,000. People are like, "Where the hell was I?"
Oh, bro.
When homes were $177,000.
It's about to get good. So when we moved in, everything we had was hand-me-downs except for one room. So our kitchen table was my supervisor's table that he didn't need anymore.
Wait, this home was not turnkey,
No.
newly renovated?
No.
Come on, guys.
No.
Because most people right now, they're saying, "Nick, if I can't buy a turnkey home, newly renovated, I don't want it."
Then you won't own a home.
Now, get this.
Sorry.
My parents,
Wait, T, say it again. What'd you
You
say?
won't own a home because there's no home that's perfect until you get in there and personalize it to what you want. It's okay to have a DIY and roll your sleeves up and make it what you need it to be. But start somewhere.
now, my parents had offered to do tile in the dining room, kitchen, in one bathroom, carpet, and paint. So they did that. But the couch that I had in the living room was from my bedroom. We had a metal Costco frame with a mattress. We had a table
From your
from my
office.
office that had a Mexican blanket over it that held our TV and VCR at the time. Not even a DVD player yet. Then we had the back bedroom that we were going to turn into a movie room because we didn't want anybody staying with us. We wanted to set that from the ground. That was our rule when we got married. Down the road, we made exceptions, and it didn't work out good. Mm. My advice, unless it's life or death, keep people out your home. Mm. Family included, unless it's a life or death situation, and that means somebody going homeless.
That's actually really important advice. As you guys are talking right now, one thing is going through my mind, and I am curious, Tanya, for you. So how old were you when you bought your first property? You were in your 20s?
How old was I?
24.
24, right
okay.
Before we got married, correct.
So for most of your life, you lived nomadic.
Correct.
There were times that you moved every 3 to 6 months. Sometimes.
Honestly, Nick, I don't
Don't even know, but many, many times.
Correct.
You never had your own.
No.
If you can take me back on the day, how did Tanya feel when you were handed those keys and it was yours?
Spazzed out.
Yeah, crying, wailing with joy and shock. Like, holding the keys, and I can see myself like opening the door and walking in, and I can see that house in my mind right now. Just like, is this ours? I mean, to go.
We were excited, bro.
To go from not knowing where you're going to lay your head to knowing where you're going to lay your head every night. There's nothing like that, because all that fear is gone. All that insecurity is gone. And it was a moment of gratitude, because who am I that God would do that for me? And as I've gone and grown in Christ, He's shown me that I am His daughter, and I am deserving it because of what Jesus did for me. So I'm gonna walk in that authority. I'm gonna walk and receive every gift that He has set up for me in obedience to Him. I'm not gonna have that grasshopper mentality anymore. It's gonna be what the Lord said, and if He said it's mine, then it's mine, and that's it. So that was a day of rejoicing for us.
Wow. Wait, take a pause. That's incredible.
Oh, no, it's about to get better.
Yeah,
it's about to get better. Now check this out. I remember when I got married, and shout out to Dr./Pastor Timothy Hoax.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He's the pastor of Key of David in Compton. By far the best Sunday school teacher we have ever experienced.
Yes. Whoop, whoop.
And the one thing I appreciated about him was that he would also give you practical teaching.
Yes.
And he spent a couple of Sunday school lessons teaching about credit. And it's very simple what he said. But he said, credit, you need it because it's the system that we're living in. Could be your best friend or your worst enemy. Use it wisely. And then he said, get your house first. Try not to get the cars. That part, we didn't listen, but it worked out. And he said, you'll see that when you get your house, they'll approve you for anything you want. And so in the movie room, my boss at the time did get me a wedding present, said, hey, I'll go $500 with you on a TV of your choice. And he says, Walmart, remember the big projectors at Walmart?
Yep.
They were
you got one of those?
Yes.
For $975. So he said, I'll go. He said, write me a check for $475. Me and your dad will go get it. We'll bring it to your house, and we'll carry it up the stairs for you. It ended up being me and my dad carrying it up the stairs, but that's another
good.
story.
Yeah.
So, and then I went to Wix Furniture, and we bought these love seats with ottomans. And I just remember coming home to the house, and
that was our first piece of real furniture.
It was just feeling so proud. And then at one point in time, we ended up getting 4 bar stools for the kitchen counter because they had a little bar top, and they were $175 a piece. And this was in 2004, and we were literally freaking out that we just dropped $700 on 4 bar stools. And then from there, we upgraded, and almost all the time with furniture, I use their credit. If they're going to give you 0% interest for 18 months, take that total, divide it by 18 months, pay off a small payment, use their money to free up your money so you can invest. We did that every time. And then we ended up getting the nicest bedroom set, the nicest couch. A year after we bought the condo for $177, we refinanced for $206, got into one loan. Because at that time, the property it appraised for, I think, like $250. So we redid the bathroom, kitchen countertops, and the master bedroom. So we refinanced for $206. Keep in mind, still $15 an hour, $12.50. Start where you can, right? So then we're looking, and we wanted, at the time, we were really close to my pastor. I was his armor bearer, so I drove him literally everywhere. We wanted to be close to him. God opened up a door. So the condo that we bought for $177,000 in 2003, 4 years later, 2007, we sold it for $375,000, paid off our debt, and put $128,000 down on our Second Avenue house, which at the time was not nice. And we waived the home inspection, which never do that. Pay your $500, get the home inspected. Then when we moved, because our contractor said, "Oh, I know but that's a whole nother podcast."
Gotcha.
He didn't know home inspections. When we moved in, we found all type of things wrong. We moved the mirror in the bathroom, no drywall behind.
The mirror just fell through the wall.
It was just hanging up. It was large enough to cover the hole. And we took the mirror down. I'm like, seems like air's coming out of there. I take the mirror down, open.
Oh my God.
Open.
Wait a minute. Oh my goodness. This is a great story. So let's just put this in steps. So you make the decision to buy the first property, a few $1,000s. So that's all you had. It wasn't turnkey ready.
No.
So you made it your own for the time. A few years went by. You used the equity that went up to renovate the property how you want it to. Then step 3 was the property value increased even further. Then you used that and you cashed in to sell that property. Then you bought your move-up home.
Correct.
And that move-up home, some things happen. You waive the inspection, probably bad advice. should do that, pay the money for it. But in that home is when you guys became mom and dad.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, tell me, what year did you guys have your first kid in the house?
2013.
2013?
Yes.
And you bought the home in 2007. Okay. Now, 07 was the Great Recession, which probably means you bought the house top of the market and you probably saw the value of that property go down. Is that accurate?
Dropped over $300,000.
Hold on. So give me some context. You bought the property for how much when you bought the property?
$545,000.
$545,000. And at its lowest, it went to
$235,000. They revoked our line of credit. My friend from high school,
oh my goodness,
in 2008, he bought that 2009, he bought down the street from us, and he paid $225,000 for his house.
Wow.
His house, because he's been doubling up on the mortgage, his house is almost paid off right now.
Wow. Wait. Okay, hold on. This is interesting because this is the time when 2007, 8, 9, you start to see millions of people lose their home.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the blessing is even though the value went lower, it didn't really matter. It was really on paper, but that payment was the same. Is that correct?
Correct. I didn't have an adjustable rate mortgage.
Got it.
You had
Okay.
fixed. Always do fixed.
Got it. So it was your fixed payment that was a blessing because you were able to ride that wave.
And I was like, why should I go and why should I try to get mortgage assistance when God has blessed me to pay the mortgage? I said, we knew at some point in time the house would appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, it's worth close to $900,000.
So the property, hold on, guys. Hold on. See what I'm saying? So the property drops down to the low 3s.
Twos.
The high 2s, somewhere in the 2s.
$235,000.
After you bought it for $545,000.
Yes.
And now it's worth almost $9,000.
Yes.
What's the lesson that teaches you about real estate?
Don't look at it as a house. look at your property as a bank account. Where are you going to get a return in your investment like that? Right? If you give me $1 million right now and I open a high yield interest account, they're going to give you 4%, which is roughly going to be about $4,000 a month. If your expenses are $4,000 a month, you're going to be broke in 20 years. My math could be off. It could be 10
Sure.
years.
Yeah, but you're still making a principal.
And so our overhead is I'm not going to say, but it's
up there.
expensive. So
$4,000 won't be enough.
no.
Look at Tanya's eyes. Like, are you kidding me?
It's not in the groceries.
No, but then you have different plans because you, instead of refinancing the house, which you can do as long as if you're going to refinance, make sure the math makes sense and it's at a lower interest rate. If not, you can always do a line of credit, and instead of paying compound interest, pull $100,000 out and find something you can invest in that's more than that interest payment. I haven't done that yet.
Got it. No, people do it all the time.
Yeah, but for me, I look at every property I have as a bank account, and if it gets bad, worst case scenario, on every property that I have, I don't have a lot, but on every property that I have more equity. Mm-hmm. So now, if needs be, I can sell that house, get rid of the liability, pay tax on what I owe, and walk away with some change in my pocket.
Let me take a step back and ask you guys something, because I'm thinking about you, Ray, and Tanya, you too. You talked about how your brother has some challenges at some point in time, and you were nomadic as a child, so you know what it's like to be unstable, have instability. What do you think it means for you both to give the gift of stability to your kids? Tanya?
They can dream. They can rest. I mean, sorry.
It's okay.
As she's waiting, if anybody thinks parenting easy, it's the hardest job we've ever had. Hardest.
What do you think is the biggest challenge in parenting today?
Can I be transparent?
Yeah, that's how we roll.
we weren't blessed. Well, let me not say this. We were blessed, but we weren't blessed in the aspect to know what me and Tanya would look like with children. We tried for a while. Both were fine. Doctor said lose weight. Doctor gave Tanya some vitamins. Said, hey, you guys do what married couples do. 3 months you'll be pregnant. Never happened. Got prayed for. And then one day, I would think I was struggling, like, man, we don't have any kids. And a good pastor friend of mine, Dr. Matt Jones, Delray Hills, said, have you guys considered adoption? He said, because me and my wife, our first child was adopted, and in the process of adopting, she got pregnant. And so I'm like, hey, do you want to do it? And immediately family leadership at church, 100% supportive. And so most of the time and it was a foster to adopt program, most of the time you're limited on the information you know. Once you're certified, they're going to call you. And you're given limited information, and you either say yes or no. I told her, I'm like, let's go all in the first call. Our first call, let's say yes. So here's the funny thing, bro. We're in New Orleans at a work conference, and we're getting ready to walk into a reception. And I'm in line, close to the door, and I'm like, hey, let's go. And she's just like I'm on the phone. I could read her sign language. She's saying she's on the phone with the adoptive agency. And she comes to me and I'm like, say yes. So she went back home on that Sunday. I fly back Tuesday morning. We had one, I think, CPR training that we had to do. So she picks me up from the airport at like 4:00 on a Tuesday. We drive to the adoption agency, take the CPR class. About an hour after the class, they come in with Callie, 7 months old, with a diaper bag and said, all right, guys, you can go home. We signed more paperwork
Mm-hmm.
for our first home than we did for a human being.
Wow.
Here, sign here on the dotted line. Bye. And they give you your basics. And so we went home, and it got real. Because all we had at the time was a crib and a dresser. Like, we had no clothes, no diapers, no nothing. So make it a long story longer. She had 3 other sisters, but 2 sets of dads. So there's 2 sets of siblings. We knew that if we were going to adopt, we would have to take Kennedy in. But when you're fostering, the first stage is for reunification. So you're loving on these kids like your own with the expectation that they're probably going to go back with their biological parents. And so we knew 2 things. That one, that if we were going to adopt Callie, we'd have to take in Kennedy. But at the time, we also wanted to make it easier on the bio mom because Kennedy was in Pasadena. Her 2 oldest daughters were in downtown Los Angeles, somewhere in Inglewood. So it took the state to 3 months to get Kennedy with us. And then for about 2.5 years, it looked like they were both going to go back home. And so they're both calling us mommy and daddy, both loving on us. And the only way to describe it in our training, he said, what true love is allowing somebody to hold a gun to your heart with their finger on the trigger. Because emotionally, when kids are taken from you, that's what it feels like. And I can't tell you, on the first visit with her mom, and she looked completely, I'm like, why did this mother lose her children? She looked very similar to my wife, younger and a little bit more weight, but she looked like she had her stuff together. And so I'm like, fell in love with Callie. I'm like, I just want to be a dad. Like, I'm struggling. I just want to be a dad. And I'm like, God, you give us a baby that looks like me and my wife? And now she's going back? And I'm crying like a baby in my car after the visit on my way to the office. And I hear the voice of God. And he spoke to me clearly and said, you're giving up already? And he starts laughing at me. We ended up adopting in May of 2016. Mm-hmm. Then, to complicate our lives more, because we wanted a son, and at the time we were doing everything to get pregnant. It was fun. This didn't happen. And we were like, maybe this is God's plan for us. Maybe, because that's a whole nother podcast, bro, but if we got into the details of how this happened, the events that happen, the different words of knowledge and prophetic words we've got, we feel, or maybe more so me, that God blocked our womb so we could adopt these children. And then,
and just to be clear, are they all related?
No,
no problem.
My daughters are related. My son is different, but at the time we got a phone call from our agency. Hey, we have this lady. Her attorneys reached out to us. They want to do a private adoption. They're looking for a blended Christian family. And so she calls me, but at the time, she had just dislocated her shoulder. She's in a cast for 4 months. I don't even know if she had surgery yet. I don't remember.
I did. It was right after.
She had just had surgery, so because she can't even, I'm doing literally, I'm cooking food, doing hair, picking up, dropping off, doing everything. Because, it's what you got to do. Sometimes you got to pick up the slack when somebody's hurt. That's what a marriage is.
That's right.
So I didn't complain. Looking back, I don't know how we did it. Because, it almost seemed like an impossible wall that we climbed. But
you climbed the wall.
Yeah.
And here's a question. Because there was a point that you didn't know if the babies would be yours forever.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
So walk me through, and then we'll pivot on one more part. Tell me, how did it feel for you guys on the day when they were yours?
Relief. And then we had, God bless social workers, nurses, they're the salt of the earth. But the way they operate is based on the life experiences they've been through. So, if that person was neglected as a child, they're going to be more on the foster parent side. If that parent came from if that social worker came from a decent home, odds are they're going to be on the bio parents. So we had like probably 6, 7 different social workers in our house throughout the period. And our last one was just ready to write us up. She was looking and then just demanded to come one more time after the adoption. And we didn't want to, but I just really didn't want to get in a fight with DCFS. And I said, let's just let her in the house. And if she tries to come back, I'll have our attorney write her a letter and tell her no. Because that's the last thing you don't want to hear. I'm from the government, and I'm here to help. Hashtag liar.
That's a podcast by itself too. I love that. But
you got like 8 or 9.
Yeah, no, 100%. We're gonna do a whole season just the Keffers only.
Okay.
But why I love how this went. One is because of the fact that this is a human story. Okay, and so obviously, I think people who hear this, they're going to find a way to relate the aspiration of wanting to become homeowners and go through that process, but also recognizing that behind that homeowner is a life, is a story, and we all go through something. But I think you guys are proving that with faith, with perseverance, you guys continue to take one step forward every day, and now you guys are building this amazing life. And I think most people, that is their dream, is that we don't get to determine where we start. Where we finish is on us. And you guys are living that dream. And I think in that spirit, we got a few minutes left. Let's catch them up for a second, okay? So we make a decision first from mom. Mom inspires you when you guys are young. You're about to raise a family pretty soon. You're making that choice to have a wife, have a union. Let's get in front of this. Start saving, buy a home. You guys don't buy the dream home. You buy where you can afford. So your budget guided your decision.
Right.
You guys put some coins together. You use a down payment program where you put down 3% of a down payment. At the time, less than $5,000 all in between down payment and closing cost. That $5,000 down payment and closing costs end up becoming over $200 some odd $1,000, if not more. You use that to buy the move-up property. There you guys started the journey of fatherhood and motherhood. You saw the value of the properties collapse, but the payment never changed. There was only a loss on paper, not in real life. That allowed you to ride the wave in order for the property to rebound. So it went from 545 down to 245, now up to 9.
Yeah, about.
Close to 9 at that property today. But you guys are not in there.
No.
That's what makes it so incredible. So we got a little bit of minutes left. So we go from the starter home to the move-up home to the dream home.
Yes.
And a few years ago, you guys were able to buy this beautiful property. That's fantastic. But that has a story as well.
Correct.
So, Tanya, if you can lay it down for us, if you can give us a high-level summary on how you guys got that property.
Surely. So once Wade came home, our house imploded, and I said, I can't live like this. And so we started to look for a home. I think we looked at 2 homes, one in PV and one in Gardena.
Was it more space that you guys needed?
We needed more space.
Okay, gotcha.
And so we put a bid in on a house in Gardena, got outbid by cash offers.
20,000 more.
Yes.
Wow, okay.
And so in our neighborhood, we would take a walk with our dog, walk her through the neighborhood. And Ray happened to be on this walk with our dog, Penny. And you want to step in on that part?
I heard a whisper. And the whisper said they're getting ready to sell or list or lease this house out.
So then I contacted our real estate agent. She said, well, why don't you write a letter? And then I felt the Holy Spirit said, send this picture. There's a particular family picture of us, and I enclosed it with a letter. And that was like the hardest thing to get that thing in the mail, but we did. And so we called them for a tour.
You're missing one thing.
Oh, I am. Go ahead.
So on a Saturday, her mom and aunt are driving past the house. They see a gentleman outside cleaning. So, of course, they hit the block again. Excuse me. Are you the owner of the house? And, oh, my daughter wrote this letter. Oh, we have your letter. And we're getting ready to list the house. and we'll be in touch. Here's the crazy thing, bro. They listed the house on her birthday.
Right. So we went to see the house on my birthday.
Wow.
And as we're walking through it, my jaw is dropping because of the view. Now the house had sat empty for 10 years. And
all updates from the 60s.
Correct. So it was not in perfect condition when we moved in, far from it, but the views and the land was well worth it. And I said, I want this house. And nothing but God, I tell you not, because what they were selling it for, it didn't appraise for. And so there's that big gap.
Yep.
And I kept saying, Lord, if this is not our house, shut the door. Well, you opened the door because we were the first.
I recall. That's right.
Right. We were the first ones to see the house. And I said, well, look, they can put it back on the market if they want to, but that's my house.
Can I jump in?
Sure.
Okay, so long story short, that we had got the down payment because at that time we knew we were going to lease out our second home. But what we did, we refinanced like a year prior, pulled out $100,000, right? Because if you explain it that, hey, my family's growing and you do it within a year, you're allowed to do it. So we had that money and I just kept it in the savings account because I knew we were going to down payment. So the house didn't appraise for the offer that was accepted. So we asked for a price deduction. They said no. We have more offers, all cash.
Mm-hmm.
We'll either honor the current contract or we'll give you your down payment back. And so I was just really defeated, but I've never gone back and ever asked my parents for money. So I just texted them like, hey, we just got news that the house didn't appraise. And she calls me and she's crying. And she's
This
like,
is your mom.
My mom. And she's like, Raymond, me and your dad have some money saved up. You're going to get it anyway as an inheritance. We'd rather see you enjoy it. And we had the first Thanksgiving at our house. My dad could barely walk up the stairs. He said, next time I come here, be running up these stairs. And he passed away 6 months after we bought the house. But he was able to see the fruit of his labor get used. And what's crazy is we didn't have money. There was some stuff we wanted to do. And so another trick I did, I had a few $100,000 in my 401k. So I took a loan against it for $30,000. And we combined 2 rooms and a bathroom to make the master suite on the second floor. And the good thing about doing that is you pay the loan back in 5 years at minimal interest, but it goes right back into your 401k.
That's right.
So you're paying yourself back and it's making money. And it was out of an amount that was like, I think $100 a week. And I think it was, or whatever 5 years was, it was low interest, but that was paid off. And then my 401k made more money.
What's the property worth now, you think? If you
Right now,
if you ballpark it?
1.6, maybe 1.7.
So,
or maybe in the 2s.
So all of this started from a $5,000 down payment and closing costs. Well, plus closing costs too, right?
The seller paid the closing costs.
$3,000. So $3,000 turns into a small board on Monopoly.
Yeah.
Yes.
You guys have shared a phenomenal story today with the world. I thank God for your story. I thank God for your humility. Tanya and Ray, you guys not only are great friends of mine, business partners of mine too, but I love you guys both dearly. And I'm inspired by your story. And I think my question at the end, parting message, is there's a family who's still renting. They got money put aside and their money saved up, but they can't buy the home that they really, really want, their dream home. They can afford a starter home, but not that dream home yet. So they're waiting and they're waiting and they're waiting. What would be your message to them to get them to get off the couch and into the home of their own where they can afford? Tanya, I'll have you go first, and then Ray, you close us out.
Start where you are. You always want to live within your budget and your means, but start what you are, because you can take that, like we've been all understanding, is you can pull the equity out of the house and get something bigger. But start where you are and be appreciative of what you have. And sometimes, roll your sleeves up and get in there and clean that house up yourself. You don't need to start at the top. Start at the bottom, because you'll be more appreciative. Every time we stepped up, like at the house that we have now, we're just as grateful as if we were in our condo. It's the gratitude, a spirit of appreciation, and understanding that if you do the hard work and you sacrifice and you do things God's way, there's no door that can ever be closed to you. All doors are open. Just start somewhere, and then see and build that wealth, build that legacy. Because once you own property, honey, you can pass that down to your children's
That's
children.
right. That's
So
right.
that's really what it is building wealth, your own personal wealth. So I would say start now.
I love that. Ray, bring us
I would
home,
say
brother.
two things. I would say never stop dreaming until you achieve. And when you achieve, dream bigger. I would also say Hebrews 11:1 says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. It doesn't say yesterday, it says now. So faith is present. Substance is something you intake, right? If you was going to eat something, it's a substance. Drink something, it's a substance. So it's a living thing, right? The evidence of things not seen. The Bible goes on to say faith without works is dead. So believe, but put the work in behind it, right? There's a story in the Bible where this man was just sick, and Jesus was speaking, and they came in, couldn't get to the front door, couldn't get to the back door, couldn't get to the side door. So they put this man up on the roof, cut a hole in the roof, laid him down, and Jesus said, thy faith has made you whole. Got to activate it. It's the only way to win. And sometimes, Jesus, when it's not working, that's a good thing. Because sometimes God likes getting the odds stacked up against him. So when he comes through for you, there's not a shadow of a doubt that was him that made that way out of no way. For us right now, what life is? Real estate investors. We have properties. Okay. Well, guess what? Every time there's light at the end of the tunnel, it's a train. Every time. But guess what? God is good. All the time.
All the time.
And all the time, my brother.
God is good. Choo, choo. It's your turn, baby. You just heard. This message is for 5 million people in America today who can afford to own a home, but you're putting this off for your dream home. The Keffer story should inspire you to start where you can, and over time, you will get where you want to go. This is the NOH Podcast, and we are waiting for you. Let's go! Let's go.